Okay, today I am looking at my 2001 Subaru Outback with the H6 engine, and I've been having a little trouble with the power steering system. There seems to be some sort of noise coming from the power steering pump. Now what I've already done is I've already taken the bolts off of a couple of these plastic pieces. The first one is this air snorkel. There's two bolts here. Actually, on my car, this bolt happens to be broken, so it's only held on by this one bolt. But those two bolts just come off, and then this just kind of clips over there. And I'm going to set this aside. And then the engine shroud just comes off. There's 4 bolts here, and I think all of these bolts use a 10mm socket. And you just remove those bolts and pull this off and set it aside. Okay, now this noise I've been getting is kind of intermittent in nature, and it's not making it right now at this exact second. But if I lift up on this hose and kind of hear the noise start there, and the harder I lift, the more the louder the noise gets. And what I suspect the problem is, after doing some research, is a bad O-ring underneath this flange. You can see here I'm looking at the power steering pump reservoir, and you can see the fluid in there is kind of bubbling and foaming and doing all kinds of things it shouldn't be. Okay, so here's the O-ring that I picked up from my local Subaru dealer. I think I paid about $2 for it. I imagine that you could probably get an O-ring from a general auto parts store, or maybe even a hardware store that would work. But for me, I didn't feel like looking around and trying to find the right part. It was easier just to call the dealership and get it. Okay, so I'm going to crack this bolt. This is a 12mm socket.
Greg had to backpedal a bit in the day's time, but here's Greg with more on his side of the story.
Well, so it's multi-layer. I think the biggest thing was, I was getting a lot of hate mail on Twitter from some print reporters.
Okay, so I've got this turkey baster that I'm going to use to try and help siphon some of the fluid out. I've cracked the bolt on this fitting, and there's a little bit of fluid in the top of the pump. So this will kind of help prevent making a mess.
Alright, so there you have it. Jimmy Johnson, he kind of grabbed Greg's fire suit and pulled him aside, and kind of, it looked like he was being the elder statesman, if you will. Yeah, and for Greg Biffle, this is something trying to force his way.
Okay, so you can see this is how the flange is, and I unbolted it. And the O-ring that I took off was right around the end of this boss. And the O-ring itself is right here, and it's sort of a square, kind of a squarish type O-ring. I don't know if that's its normal shape or it's been distorted, and it feels rather stiff. So I'm not sure if that's from age or if that's just how it was made. And over time, tolerances and stuff have caused air to get past it. Okay, so pull the O-ring out here.
Between Kevin Harvick and Ty Dillon. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, Kevin Harvick is waving goodbye to RCR at the end of the season. I'm just not exactly sure how he's feeling the wave.
And this O-ring seems more like a normal O-ring to me, with a round, sort of a rounded O-ring, unlike the one that I pulled out. So now, just throw this back on the end here. Seems to fit just fine.
And look, first off, no pet driver, I think since maybe Dale Earnhardt first left RCR, that first time has ever left RCR without, trying to stay there, right?
And just bolt this back on.
You got to know that Richard Silverson feeling a little bit hurt professionally by that. And then, when Kevin Harvick said those things about his grandkids, I think that they were just given everything. And those grandkids, I don't think there would be an RCR. I think Richard would be out hunting somewhere and have sold the race team. And those grandkids and their ability to race is what has kept Richard's enthusiasm.
I'm sure there's probably a torque setting on that, and it would be advisable to torque that properly, but I've just sort of done it by feel. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is change the fluid, and the way that I'm going to do that is to use my turkey baster and just kind of suck the reservoir dry and then replace it with some new fluid. And in this car, the PowerSteering fluid is Dextron 3 transmission fluid, as opposed to regular conventional PowerSteering fluid. Okay, so I have sucked out as much PowerSteering fluid as I could with a turkey baster with a hose on the end of it to get into the reservoir, and filled it up with fresh fluid. And I'll probably have to repeat that process a couple of more times to get all the fluid to cycle through, get all the old fluid out, and get some new fluid in. That's probably the easiest way to drain the system. Okay, got the engine running, and things seem quiet right now, but again, this noise was intermittent. And before, if I lifted up on this hose and put stress on this fitting, it would make the noise. And it doesn't seem to be doing that now. In fact, I think now I can even turn the wheel a bit. And I don't hear anything really abnormal. Don't want to do that too much, stress the system, but I think a test drive is in order. Alright, so I'm out riding around in the Subaru here after repairing the O-ring for the PowerSteering pump connection, and so far everything sounds nice and quiet. I don't hear the whining coming from the PowerSteering pump anymore, which would indicate to me that there's no more air getting into the system. So I believe I think the problem is fixed, at least for now. So I'll keep an eye on things over the next few days, and kind of continue to change the fluid in the reservoir with the turkey baster. I'll do that a couple more times. Okay, here I am back in the garage after taking a I don't know, 5 or 6 mile test drive, and you can see there's motion there. There's some turbulence in the fluid, but no foam. There's no foam or bubbles like I was seeing earlier. So I'm going to have to say that the O-ring replacement has fixed everything for now, and I'm just going to replace the fluid here a couple more times in the reservoir using the turkey baster method, and call it good to go after that.